Frothy. Very frothy. And we're live.
Wait, I need to get where's the stupid annoying sound plugin?
Was that you went the sound plugin? What?
There's a plugin where you can play like horns and shit.
Oh, no thanks.
No. Let's actually start the show real quick, since we actually are already broadcasting onto YouTube right now. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Five Dumb Things. This is episode number 4. I'm your host, Darren J. Gendron, and with me, as always, is Brandon J. Carr.
Hi, Darren.
I was debating if I should come up with something stupid for you to say, like, oh, it's the Wizard of Oz. It's 4 episodes in. I have completely run out of stupidity in my effort to point out the stupid things that are available in pop culture.
Well,
that's where I'm
very
at
disappointed.
right now.
I always look forward to, how are you gonna address me today? And I guess
I will definitely find something to mock you with next week. I promise that. But before we get started in talking about the dumb things of pop culture, let's bring in our guest judge, Jamie Noguchi.
Hello. How are things? How's it going?
Things are good. I'm debating if we should address the fact that your video image now currently has an eye patch and a monocle.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Darren.
No. Okay, we won't address that at all. Okay. 5 dumb things. We know the format. For those of you guys that are tuning in.
I found it, you guys.
No.
Oh,
No. 5 dumb things. For those of you guys that are just tuning in for your first episode, Brandon and I will bring up 5 very dumb things from the world of pop culture, covering movies, television, music, gaming, and more. And our judge will tell us that we're dumb.
I thought this was about politics, you guys.
No.
Thought
Politics
we were
in
gonna
general
talk about
are
the
just
election the
dumb
entire time.
things.
that's our other podcast. Politics are dumb.
Politics are dumb. It has a sister podcast of Religion is Dumb. They're very exciting. It's mostly just yelling at people because that's how those discussions go. No.
And then there's our discast. Yo Mama's So Dumb.
Oh yeah. Yes. That is a favorite of mine. The all-time discast is always good. Let's start it with movies. We got 5 minutes on the clock. Brandon and I each picked a dumb thing about movies that we found this week. For me personally, I managed to do the timer wrong because I was using timer with 1 second on it, so my time is up. No. Let me try that again. Okay, put the 5 minutes on the clock there and start that. The dumb thing that I found this week, I'm probably not going to use all 5 minutes just so that I can let Jamie stew in some rage and excitement at the exact same time. The Universal Studios, nope, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom is coming out with a Pacific Rim 5D ride.
Oh my god.
Yes. This is not a roller coaster, mind you. This will be like one of those theater experiences where the seat shakes and like water will get splashed on your face.
Oh, cool.
Yes. But we have Pacific Rim with a number after it, and that number happens to be 5D. It's not Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah,
That's where it's dumb.
I'm really bitter about that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that I could possibly go on a ride and like punch a kaiju in the face. That sounds really cool.
So I was wondering which way this was going to go with you personally. Jamie and I are both huge fanboys for the Pacific Rim franchise. When it was out, it was one of the first movies that I was actively rooting for its box office, because it sort of got leaked out that if this movie did $100 million box office in China, that there would be a very good chance that they would greenlight a sequel. And it's a world that I really want more of. But it got $100 million in China, and then every other movie that Guillermo del Toro was attached to, the studios that he was working with, kept running out of money. So they made him pick. Like, he could do either this project or this project, and currently he's going with another project instead of Pacific Rim 2. We just need to give Guillermo del Toro as much money as possible. That's what I feel.
I'm with it. If I had the money to throw at him, I would throw it at him because I need to see Pacific Rim 2. Like, I need to live in a world where that exists.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll be honest. There's some other like I normally short my other topics in favor of doing a full 5 minutes on movies. Some of the other topics I need the full 5 minutes, so I will just bank the rest of my time on that and say that's what I have to say. It's dumb that we're getting a Pacific Rim ride and not a Pacific Rim movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dumbness, Brandon, for movies.
I'd like to talk about the 2015 Oscar nominations.
Oh my God.
So the Oscar program is coming up February 28th, and it will be honoring some people in Hollywood, hosted by Chris Rock, who, for probably most of the ceremony, other than other presenters, will be the only person of color on stage. The main categories, the main acting categories, actor in leading role, actress in leading role, et cetera, entirely white folks.
Yay, we've come so far.
And you know, someone pointed out that if you take a look at the pictures of all of the actresses in a leading role, they all look like the same woman at different stages of life.
It's a cloning program. We've uncovered a secret Hollywood cloning program.
Right. But what's interesting is I use Time Hop to see what I've been up to in the past because I find myself very interesting. But I found a retweet from last year where someone was talking about the lack of diversity in the Oscar nominations, and I believe it won from the year before. So clearly this is not a new situation going on. But
yeah, I fucking stopped watching the Oscars because it's a celebration of everything that it's just so lazy about Hollywood. You know, I mean at this point you can make up all the excuses you want, but it's just fucking laziness. Like for whatever reason they refuse to change their viewpoint, and even though like we have one of the highest grossing movies ever starring a black kid and a woman, it's not going to change the difference.
Let's also point out that Oscar Isaac is a Guatemalan, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so like you have a movie that's a genre film that has a huge diverse cast. Like you have diversity in the First Order, you have diversity in the Resistance, and Hollywood's going to look at it as a fluke. They're like, oh, of course it made a lot of money. It's a Star Wars film.
Right.
But
and they're generally not very celebratory when it comes to genre films anyway.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that Mad Max got a nomination for Best Picture.
Let alone 10, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, like in the top category. I knew it was going to get some things. But, you know, you look at the fact that it got nominations for the director and for the movie, but no acting nominations.
Yeah, like that Best Picture nomination, like people might not be aware that there's been a rule change recently to try to expand the field for Best Picture. That's why we have, I believe, 8 nominated Best Pictures this year. It can go to 10. But to get a nomination, you have to get at least 5% of the ballots have to list it, I believe, in the number 1 spot. It might be 1 or 2, but I think it's so at least 5% of the ballots have to do that. But then we're looking at movies like Creed and Beasts of No Nation and Star Wars all getting completely snubbed, and those are 3 minority cast lead movies that were ignored.
Straight Outta Compton. Don't forget
Straight Outta Compton. That's another one I was forgetting. Thank you.
Hey man, like I don't even care because they do this every year. The Oscars, it's the same pool that they draw from for the nominations, and they're clearly not a diverse judging pool. So it's not going to change, and
it's about 90% white doing.
And like I don't know, the awards. I feel like awards in general are kind of self-masturbatory celebrations of everything that is wrong in the industry. Like, you know, we're all some of us were all heavily involved in the comic book industry, and the Eisners for the longest time has been like all dudes, all men. For the longest time. It's only recently that some of the comic awards have increased to include women and, you know, minorities and things like that. So it's just awards in general have this problem.
Well, what's interesting and what would be amazing to see happen in the larger entertainment industry is the recent situation in France with the Grand Prix Award in
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
comic
yeah. I
industry,
heard about that.
where several people, because all of the, I guess, the best illustrator or whatever award, it was a list of like 20 dudes, and that was it. Like, clearly, no women made good comics within the last year, according to this board. So nominees started dropping out. They said,
Yeah,
"No thanks. This honor means nothing because it's not inclusive of everyone who should be involved."
that's
And
amazing.
I know it's incredible, and it'd be amazing to see someone say like, I would rather be out because I choose to be, or out because my work came in second to someone else who's more deserving, who didn't get the opportunity,
Yeah.
because that's just how this stuff works.
Oh my God, do you think any of the Oscar nominees are gonna not show up in protest?
The nominees?
Yeah, do you
Wow.
think any of them are gonna be like,
I doubt it. It would be a
Yeah.
pretty ineffectual protest because people don't show up all the time. If someone stood up and said, "I don't want this nomination," like they did with the Grand Prix Award,
mhm,
that would carry a lot more weight.
mm,
If it's not going to be Leonardo DiCaprio because he really wants an Oscar.
I was gonna
yeah,
say, off the top of my head, he's the one nominee that if you wanted to make a headline, it's on his back.
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
uh,
he could carry. I mean, Bryan Cranston. This is his first, I think, nomination for actor in a leading role. Like, that would be a big deal because this is first, and if he stepped away, Eddie
yeah,
Redmayne
man.
has been up there before.
If Walter White starts some shit, holy shit.
Right. People are going to follow along.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's very frustrating, and to the point where you have to think about it. No, they won't release who the Academy is, like who the
Mhm.
actual voters are. You know that these are people that are entrenched. These are the straight white guys of Hollywood, the old straight white guys. And
Yeah.
in fact, we look at these 20 nominated categories, the acting categories, and we see no minorities represented. And also, actually, for the most part, in the directing category as well, other than
Mhm.
Inarritu, he's the only minority nominee.
I wonder
Uh,
if it looks different if you extend it to like the tech Emmys or like the guys doing the effects and the effect houses and things like that. I wonder if there's more diversity in the non in front of camera stuff. Like, I don't know.
well,
Is there a
possibly.
grip category? I don't
Yeah.
know what the best
Well,
grip is.
there are a lot of tech awards, and I don't know if either of you caught this last year's season of Project Greenlight.
Mm-mm.
It illustrated a huge diversity issue
I
behind
did
the.
I did hear about the fight. That was kind of amazing, but I didn't watch it.
It's very frustrating, and sort of the hero of the season was Effie Brown, who was the producer,
Hmm.
who had to deal with a lot of getting pushed around and a lot of being condescended to, and a lot of people going around her as a producer, when she would say, "No, we can't do things this way because this is the budget." Doing what a producer does.
Right.
Going around her to the executive producers to uh, get the things done that they wanted to do just because they wanted it, and they didn't follow her, or they didn't trust her in her role as producer for a variety of reasons. But she also pushed to have more diversity on the crew and on the creative side, and met with a lot of roadblocks. So I'd be willing to bet that maybe even in the tech Oscars, it's not as diverse. I mean, it's probably more diverse, but it's not substantially more diverse.
okay, Jamie.
Yeah.
This is how the game is played.
Okay.
Which is more dumb to you, or which is dumb? Is it the Oscar nominations having a lack of diversity, or is it Pacific Rim having a ride and not a sequel?
Well, it's definitely the Oscars, because fuck the Oscars. Every fucking year.
That's a solid answer. Okay. That's going to bring us to the television portion of our show. For me, let me start the clock here as I go over what I have. Every now and then, Saturday Night Live reminds me that they actually have some talent there. They could actually make something funny and interesting. And almost every single time they do this, who am I echoing on? Jamie, do you have headphones by any chance?
Oh, Yes.
I'm gonna pause real quick and make Jamie put headphones on.
That's good.
Yeah.
Jesus, Jamie.
I'm sorry.
Gosh.
Like, it's just enough noise pollution that I'm like, you know what?
Hello.
That's probably gonna. Yep, there it is. Okay, good. Let me reset on there. All right, let's go to the TV portion of the show. For me, it's going to be the Saturday Night Live bit that just came out this past weekend. They went and they did a mock Undercover Boss episode with Kylo Ren as Matt, Starkiller Base.
My name is Matt.
Guy. My name is Matt. It's Adam Driver as Kylo Ren as Matt, and it's it is so delightfully dumb having him pretend to just be like this regular guy, but also being that weird emo, not respected Kylo Ren character that he just no respect whatsoever throughout the entire base, and like you get that feeling when you watch the movie. Like General Hux clearly does not respect Kylo, and no one does. It's just like, nah, just shut up, Kylo. You're dumb. You're dumb. Your lightsaber's dumb. In fact, they even point out that his lightsaber is dumb, and then he uses it to like threaten people.
He throws it across the room.
Yeah.
He has a tantrum.
Somebody has even made a fake Adam. Wait, Adam?
I think, yeah.
Matt. Fake Matt. I forgot to link it, didn't I? They made a fake action figure of his undercover boss.
That's awesome.
Character. I want that to be real. I don't need. Some people have been joking about it, saying they have to make this thing canon. Like this happened. It would fit. It would, except for the fact that undercover boss now suddenly exists in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's a trade-off. But I want the action figure to be real. I want that to happen. It won't, but I can dream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not necessarily. They made a George Lucas action figure in the last round of toys that they made.
Right, but I'm thinking in terms of the fact that it would be an NBC TV show and which is GE, and Disney has ABC, so there's like that competition thing. I don't think they're going to hash out a giant merchandising deal just so Darren J. Gendron can get one stupid action figure.
You mean amazing action figure?
An amazing action figure. But it's delightfully dumb. It's one of those things where it reminds me that maybe Saturday Night Live should stop being live, because again, that was a recorded bit. It was like I haven't been seeing their live stuff as entertaining lately.
That was actually
possibly because I'm old, but yeah.
That was one of two pre-recorded bits on that episode that were really good. The bit with the kids whose parents are at the Golden Globes was also pretty funny, and that was pre-recorded as well.
So again, and I mean, they've been having this problem ever since Andy Samberg rose to fame through their ranks, because everything that he was doing that was funny on the show was a digital short.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, what is dumb in TV?
Well, I want to talk about the television program Gallivant. Have you guys seen it?
Nope.
Are you familiar?
I want to. I really do.
So Gallivant is a musical that was put together. It was created by Dan Fogelman, who was part of the team responsible for Tangled, which is one of my favorite Disney films. Also Cars, which children love. He also either wrote or directed, or both, the movie Crazy Stupid Love, which was a lot of fun.
Wait, hold on. Back up. Was that a subtle dig at Darren with the Cars comment?
No.
I don't know if Brandon actually realizes that I enjoy the Cars franchise. Yes.
So here's the difference though. So I had a 5-year-old son when the first Cars came out. So I watched that movie about 14,000 times when it came out on DVD, and then there were all of these Cars all over my house, and like a Cars CD player, and Cars video games, and Cars comforters. So I got a little burnout on Cars, but it's a lovely franchise. For
See, I went the other way. Like,
young
it's
and old alone.
me. Like, I'm just like, Cars is everything.
That's weird,
No,
but that's okay.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's like when I play Disney Infinity and I come across the Cars characters, they're so annoying. They're just underfoot. So I always pick them up and throw them off the edge. So anyway, Gallivant. So Gallivant, like I said, it's a musical. And the music is co-written by Alan Menken, who's half of the songwriting team that was responsible for Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, all of the big Disney musicals. But the music in it, the songs are not Disney-y. They're very. There's a whole song where two people who are married but they hate each other are sort of starting to see the nice things about one another, and the whole song is, I think it's called "You're Not the Worst Thing Ever." And so all of the songs are very much like that. It's very funny. The whole thing is just built around comedy, and the story is about Gallivant, who's this big hero who lost his love because she was stolen away by King Richard, who's played by Tim Omenson, who played Lassiter on Psych, and that poor guy on Deadwood that got dead in the first few episodes because he got swindled into buying the gold area, the dig site.
The gold area.
So anyway, he steals the show as King Richard. So King Richard steals Gallivant's lady love, and so he, grabs his sword and climbs on his horse and rides to the castle where she's being held against her will, where she's being forced to marry King Richard, and there's this big, swelling musical number that walks you through all of this exposition. He gets there and he says, "I'm here for you. Do you want to come with me or do you want to live with this guy in his big fancy castle?" And she says, "I'll stay with this guy." And so,
nice.
So it completely shuts him down, and he becomes, he just sits around drinking and growing a patchy beard.
King Emo.
And so he winds up getting roped into a whole nother journey, and so that's what the whole thing is about. And it's very funny. Vinnie Jones, who used to play soccer in the UK, he was Juggernaut in the bad X-Men.
Bullet Tooth Tony.
Yeah. He plays Gareth, who is the king's servant, and he has some musical numbers, which is just beautiful.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Wait, Vinnie Jones, Bullet Tooth Tony
sings and dances, and has a really good comedy sense. Like he's good. He's very funny. So he's one of the highlights as well. And there are a ton of other characters throughout. There are a lot of guest stars. John Stamos is in it as another hero named Jean Ham. Right. So see, and I knew that you would appreciate the more punny things. There was a recent episode, for instance, that had Nick Frost as a giant named Andre, who was part of a group of giants that were at war against a group of dwarves. And mainly this had to do with the fact that the giants all lived at the top of a hill and the dwarves all lived at the bottom, and they were actually all the same height. But because the giants stood up higher on the hill, so when they actually get to the middle and they start fighting, they start forgetting who the giants and the dwarves are, and so they're all just hitting each other.
Oh, that's fun.
It's a great show. Now here's what's dumb about it though, because they keep shoving it into these weird time frames. It's like, oh, hey, you're missing Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, right? Well, for this little period where they're off the air, we'll just cram this show in there.
Oh.
And so they double up on episodes. So last season it was 4 weeks of 2 episodes each week.
Jesus.
And then this year it's 5 weeks. So instead of spreading it out, so here's the thing, like either spread them out and have your whole, 14 episodes across the 2 seasons week by week, or just make hour-long episodes.
Oh, it's a half hour?
Yeah, so it's jarring in the middle of this quote-unquote hour of Gallivant to all of a sudden it shows the intro graphic again. You're like, oh, okay, I guess
Really?
that one's over.
Yeah, it really sounds like it should be like an hour show.
It would be perfect for an hour. But that might be something that they're worried about, being able to, I don't know, keep people's interest, or, it's on Sundays, which is a tricky night of late because
Well,
it's Downton Abbey.
Musicals don't really hit.
No.
Yeah.
I'll save this for after the dumb question.
Hmm.
Jamie, once again, you get to call somebody dumb. Probably you're going to make one of us cry. Is Undercover Boss Kylo Ren dumb, or is Gallivant's schedule dumb?
I think Gallivant's schedule is dumb, especially if you're trying to build an audience. And although I don't know, it's kind of risky to put a musical on television because nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Now, the thing that I was having a problem with was, I think at one point my wife and I were going to sit down and start watching it. Are we okay watching it with kids in the room?
Well, there are some bawdy jokes throughout that are more often than not sung, and it's a little bit hard to understand, but there might be some song elements you don't want kids getting stuck in their heads and singing at school.
Yeah, that's I think that's the fear that we have. So this is going to have to be when they're distracted at the least.
Yeah.
Well, and the tough part is this is all original music, right? It's not like a Glee where it's just covers of current pop songs.
Right. It's
like
all brand new.
Yeah, and so it's unless you're way into musicals and musical theater or theater, I don't know. It sounds like something that won't necessarily find a wide enough audience to stick around. It definitely seems like the network doesn't feel confident in it.
No, they're not confident. Well, I mean, they gave it a second season, so they're that confident. But part of it is that if you're a comedy fan, that's who it's aimed at more than anyone else. So, for instance, there's that song "Maybe You're Not the Worst Thing Ever." There's another song that the Squires sing about the nights that they serve called "Jackass in a Can." There's a song at a monastery, a group of monks led by Weird Al Yankovic called "Hey Hey We're the Monks."
Oh my god, that's amazing.
There is, in a recent episode, there was an amazing song between King Richard and an iguana that was called "My Dragon Pal and Me," because he's convinced it's just not it's a dragon that's not yet full grown. So it's funny, like that's what it's leaning on more than anything else. But yeah, having it as a musical, having it set in a medieval time, are both really risky, but it all works.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to the music portion of the show. Depending on the edit there, I might be taking that judgment like just way too well, aren't I? Just like, yep, moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to go first on music because this was one of the most beautiful things that had ever happened to me while being stuck on traffic on I-5. I'm driving. I was driving to an open mic, and I was getting, just going through jokes, whatnot, and thinking of things, and I flip on the radio, got the NPR going. I'm considering all the things. Well, it was all things considered, and Robert Siegel brings on his guest. It's John Benjamin. Now, at first, I'm like trying to figure out, like, is that John Benjamin, like H. John Benjamin? And it is, but for this interview, he's going by John Benjamin. And they point out that it's because he's the voice of Archer, he's the voice of Bob from Bob's Burgers, he's the voice of a can in Wet Hot American Summer. He's a very distinct voice, very known comedian, just great. Basically, he's one of my favorite animation voices. I'm a huge geek for Archer, love that show, but he's on NPR. As they say, to promote the most NPR of things, an experimental jazz album, right? So they play a little bit of it, right? And they don't introduce the track. They just start playing a selection of it, and I'm listening to it, and it's got a decent sax to it. It's got It's a standard jazz trio situation, and then I'm listening. The piano comes on, and the piano is just a hot mess. Like, you know that whole phrase about in jazz, you're supposed to listen to the notes that are not being played. If you did that with the piano, you're listening to nothing because all the notes are being played.
Ugh.
Like, it's just like it's like the piano player is having a spasm, and I'm like, really? Are we gonna pretend that this is music? Like, what are we doing here?
Is he
And
the piano player?
and then Siegel comes back on and says, okay, the name of that track is I Don't Know How to Play the Piano.
Oh.
Part 1. The next track on the album is I Don't Know How to Play the Piano Part 2. Apparently, the company that commissioned this, they commissioned John Benjamin to do a comedy album, and instead what he did is he came out with a jazz record called Well, I Should Have, ellipsis, asterisk, and then the under asterisk, Learn to Play the Piano. He actually put together a jazz album by not touching the piano at all before they sat down in recording studio. They invited professional musicians to come in. The professional musicians did not know that this was going to be what was happening. They were basically just being told that it's going to be just jazz, freeform, you're going to kind of play around. They're going to do like some of the jazz things, like an answer and call type thing between the piano and saxophone. That's on I Can't Play Piano Part 3 if you're looking for it on the album. It is... the moment I heard the title for the track, I was laughing so hard I was crying. Like, and I still get like this like glisten of my eye. Like, it's so horribly amazing. As John Benjamin referred to it, it's real untapped untalent. And he also talked about whether or not he would be going on tour, doing any live shows. People actually asked live shows. And he actually says, no, probably not going to do live shows because I'm going to be busy. I think I actually want to learn how to play piano now. Just want to give that a shot.
Oh my God.
Since it was fun, recording a hit album, that maybe you should learn how to play. If you get it, like I did check a little bit of the tracks. Otherwise, there is some voice comedy on it as well. Like the whole thing, it starts off with a discussion between John and the devil. The devil is being played by Aziz Ansari, and Aziz is debating whether or not he actually wants to bother buying John's soul. It's like, well, you didn't put any work into this at all. It's normally I go with mastery, not just basics. It's definitely a one note, literally at some points, because he's just tapping the same note on the piano over and over again. But it did me, and I rather loved it. All right, Brandon. Did you want to add anything to this? To Well, I Should Have?
I've listened to this album, and well, no, I've listened to some of this album.
Oh my God.
It is a little hard to listen to after a while. It's funny hearing all of these actual jazz musicians playing, and then all of a sudden, pling plong, pling 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 pling, where he's trying to be funny, and also at the same time, I think he's really trying to make jazz. I agree that it's one note. I listened to part of it, and then I was done. Like, I got it. I got the joke. It reminded me. There's a track on one of the Lonely Island albums called Sax Man, where it's got Jack Black, where he comes out and he's hyping everyone up and scatting a little bit, and there's this whole like jazz ensemble going on behind him. He's like, "All right, sax man, take it," and you hear the sax go, and it just blurts out, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he gets all mad. Anyway, it reminded me of that.
Warmed up. He was just getting warmed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta go through all the shitty notes to get to the good ones.
Right. Well, he never does in that particular track, and John Benjamin never gets to the good notes within that album. So who knows? He might later. But it is fun. It's a really fun album, but it's dumb. Like I can go ahead and say that it is genuinely dumb in a delicious way.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think is dumb? What do you bring to the table, Brandon?
What do I bring?
What do you bring
Very
to the table in
little.
the world of dumb?
So I want to talk about William Shatner's 2004 album Has Been, which I know is kind of a weird stretch, but it's an album I've been thinking about recently because of the reason that it's dumb, which I'll get to in just a moment. Um, it caught my eye in the first place when it first came out because it's William Shatner. I love William Shatner for Star Trek and Boston Legal and a whole number of things. I find him a very entertaining human. But then I found out that the album was being produced and arranged by Ben Folds, who's one of my favorite musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So they co-wrote the songs together on the album. Then Joe Jackson is on it, Amy Mann is on it, Henry Rollins is on it, Brad Paisley is on it. It's got this weird group of people that are performing, and a lot of it is based on things that have happened in Shatner's life. Like it's a really raw, emotional album. There's a whole track that has no background music at all, where it's just sort of spoken poetry, where he's talking about the death of his first wife,
Oof.
which was, she drowned in a pool at their home, and that's what the whole thing is about, because he was there when it happened.
Good God.
Yeah, and it's really intense. And then it's followed up by a track featuring his current wife, and it's basically the two of them exchanging almost compliments about one another. It's done in a very poetic way. She's a poet. He's William Shatner, and so it's an interesting kind of counterbalance because the whole album goes back and forth between, I'm still here, I'm still great. You've never done anything. Oh, this thing sucked. But hey, look what's going on now. Oh, here's
Mhm.
another thing that sucked. The Henry Rollins song, for instance, is called "I Can't Get Behind That," where they're both just shouting at each other about different things.
Seems legit.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Like it makes perfect sense. And then there's another one where he's talking about crap. What's it called? Oh, it's called "That's Me Trying," which was also co-written with Nick Hornby, who has also collaborated with Ben Folds later on a great album, and he's a good author. And then Amy Mann's on that one, and that is about him trying to reconnect with his daughters, from whom he's been estranged for most of his life. So it's really raw. I mean, it's very open. It's very vulnerable, and it's really fun to listen to. And it's a lot more entertaining than his 1968 album, The Transformed Man, which is almost more of a novelty album.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he would view it that way.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, exactly. I think he would take exception to that. But what's dumb about it is there's never been a follow-up. It's been 12 years now, and I had hoped that he would do it again in another few years, building another group of really weird collaborators in order to put together something as unique or similar. But it hasn't happened.
He needs
It
to do
hasn't
like
happened yet, which is one of the album tracks.
he needs to do like a slam poetry version.
That would be awesome. And he'd probably be all for it. He's very into his poetry. I don't know if you know that about him.
Oh my God.
Which you can look at either like in a genuine way or in an ironic way, and either way, it has value.
I have a lot more respect for him. There's a documentary, I forget what it was called, but he goes around and he talks to every actor who's played a Starfleet captain, and like some of the conversations he has with the other actors, like Patrick Stewart and Kate Mulgrew, and it kind of humanized him in a way to me that I'd never seen William Shatner before. Like, everybody makes fun of his staccato way of delivering pretty much every line.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. I thought that was a really it gave more insight into him as an actor and as a person, and I gained a greater appreciation for what he's done and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, and along those lines, I don't know if he still does, but he had a talk show for a while that was very no nonsense.
Mhm.
You know, he would get guests out and be, you know, there would be a little bit of small talk at the beginning, and they'd say, "All right, so tell me about when your dad used to beat you when you were a kid." You know,
Oh yeah, he
I
goes
mean, it was
right into it on that show.
really, really raw, which is a word I'm using a lot because I guess it applies more to William Shatner than I thought. But I think,
Mhm.
you know, he's someone that went from complete artifice and being, you know, buried underneath this character for so long to just stripping himself down and that sounds naughty and you know
Oh
And raw.
yeah.
and raw and throwing himself back out there in a completely different way, in a here's who I actually am sort of way. And it's paid off, and it's, you know, there have been some pretty interesting things that have come out of this album, that talk show. I think the documentary you're talking about was actually just called The Captains,
Yeah.
if I recall, and it was really cool. That was a really cool thing.
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, Jamie.
It made me appreciate Enterprise too, weirdly, because I fucking hated that show.
Really? Oh, I like Enterprise.
Ugh.
I was just reading about Enterprise earlier today about how much the last episode was one of the worst things on
Oh
television.
my god, it was such a
But-
cheat. I felt so bad for that cast.
Okay, Jamie.
Sorry.
Task at hand. Music. Is John Benjamin's "Well, I Should Have, asterisk, learned to play the piano" dumb? Or is William Shatner's "Has Been" not having a follow-up dumb?
I think the John Benjamin thing is really fucking dumb.
It is so amazingly dumb. Oh my gosh. Brandon, I called dibs on that really early on when we were picking stuff. Were you thinking about using that?
No, actually, I don't know. I didn't actually think of it as music, if that makes sense. I think of it more as like a comedy album. Like it's a, and I know
it definitely is a comedy album. Yes.
you know, I guess I don't know. It's almost, you know, it's not even music. It's prop comedy
Yeah,
in a way,
piano is
because
prop.
he's just banging away at the piano with no skill or plan, and that's what becomes the joke.
I think you also have to be in the
Daredevil.
mood to hear it, because like when you started describing this, my eyes rolled so fucking hard. Like
could hear
got
that.
dizzy.
It was like a weird crackling, rotating noise.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the gaming portion of the show. My dumb thing that I want to say is dumb. I'm going to come out and say it. Luigi is dumb.
Oh,
I 100% believe this in my heart of hearts. Luigi is what happens when you went over to your friend's house to play Super Mario, and he had the Nintendo and you didn't. So he hands you Player 2 with the intention of never letting you play. Like, if everything goes towards as planned, he's playing Mario the entire time, you're never playing. That's what the goal is with Luigi. Like, no, Luigi's own mother doesn't love Luigi. This is true. This is 100% true, and I figured this out because they're brothers. They have the same last name, right? And yet they're called the Super Mario Brothers.
Mm.
well, I believe their last name is Mario.
Their last name is actually Mario, yes.
Mario and Luigi Mario.
Yeah, I'll admit that's actually a stand-up bit I do.
But that supports your comment.
But yeah, Mario has the family name. He's Mario. But yeah, and it's just like, you know, what does Luigi do? Does he go when he complained to his mom, like, you know, I'm bored? Whereas the mom looks, oh, you know, Mario, he'll be here. He'll be right here. He's busy fighting a gorilla in a tie. When he's done with that. But you look a little green, Luigi, so we get a doctor, like your brother, Dr. Mario. Like, Luigi has no cool side gigs, and Mario has like 5. At
Luigi's
best-
a ghost hunter, man.
Okay, he's a ghost runner, not a
Ghost
hunter.
vacuumer.
Yeah,
Ghost
ghost vacuumer.
He's a ghost sucker.
Even when he's hunting ghosts, he sucks.
God damn it, Darren. And I
But
would
no,
beat you
I-
with a newspaper if I was closer.
He got 1 year. We had the year of Luigi. It's done. That was 2 years ago. No more Luigi.
Which,
He's
by
done.
the way, they did nothing with. There
Right.
was. It's not like they launched some big thing. They changed the Nintendo website to green. I think that may have been the year that they put out the Luigi's Mansion sequel.
Yeah.
And then I think that was it.
Do you have Mario crying?
Mario
oh crap!
See, not even Brandon, when he's drawing the logo for this show, likes to draw Luigi. He's like, just, draw Mario, and then later make the M into an L.
It's Luigi's mustache, though.
What about the epic Luigi stare down in that one clip for Mario Kart, where he's just like...
Luigi's out for blood, yes. If Luigi passes you as you're blowing up on Mario Kart, he throws shade. That is the literal definition of shade being thrown, and it's by Luigi. That's what he does. He sucks, and he throws shade.
Wow.
All right. What is dumb in games, Brandon?
I feel like there's a lot of... I think there's something behind all of this.
I know. I think there's more to it.
My hatred of Luigi?
Did someone in green hurt you?
Yeah. There's some underlying shaming here somehow.
I've had to hold a Nintendo controller and my friend was a really good Mario player, man. So it was just like, yeah, let's go play some Mario. Yeah, I'll sit here. This is cool. Yeah, jump, just like that. Oh, I get to play now. Okay. Dead in a second. Goddamn Luigi.
Oh, darn.
Luigi, who was in the two-player games completely identical to Mario.
Yeah,
so
I
feel like maybe that has more to do with your skill. Although you never got to practice. So.
I never got to practice. It wasn't my Nintendo. I didn't have one. So I'd go over to my friend's house, and it basically would be like, hey, just watch me play Mario for a while, and then die with Luigi rapidly.
Oh, poor Luigi.
Oh.
I've had a soft spot for Luigi because he gets a bad rap.
He deserves every inch of that bad rap.
God.
Terrible character. Luigi Mario.
Luigi Mario.
It's a dumb name if there ever was one.
That is true. I'll give you that.
He's like Italian stereotype.
Right.
That's true.
Although he was pretty great on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. You remember? I don't. All I knew is Captain Lou Albano played Mario.
I remember Captain Lou. Yeah, I remember Captain Lou.
No, you're proving my point again.
Yeah,
you guys remember
Luigi.
Captain Lou was Mario. You have no clue who was Luigi, do you?
No
clue
fucking
whatsoever.
idea. No idea.
Neither do I, because Captain Lou was awesome, and Mario was awesome.
Yeah, but we knew him as Captain Lou. We didn't see him as Mario. It's like, hey, it's Captain Lou. He got a job. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Brandon, what do you think is dumb?
Wait, hang on. I'm going to do some clever editing. I think we all know that Danny Wells played Luigi on the Super Mario Brothers. I mean, clearly, obviously he was perhaps best known for his occasional role as Charlie the bartender on The Jeffersons, but he was also in Magnolia, The Last Kiss, and Private Benjamin, so he deserves some respect.
Okay, what if they did a movie, and they did a remake, and they cast Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Luigi? Would Luigi then be cool?
That's a tough question.
Do you really think that The Rock would be Luigi?
Luigi's the thin one. Who would you cast as Mario?
Like, clearly The Rock is Mario.
All right.
You recast Mario again.
Okay, The Rock as Mario and Idris Elba as Luigi. Would Luigi then be cool? It's Idris Elba, Dern. It's Idris Elba,
man.
Luigi, Mario.
Oh gosh, like
Stacker Pentecost.
Roland
Luther.
Deschain, the gunslinger. Like when that was announced, I might deal with that in a later episode, but
Yeah,
Idris
hold on
Elba-
to that.
Yeah.
Because we can have a
Okay. Just tell us, Brandon, what is dumb with video games?
I want to talk about the Rock Band series of video games.
Oh.
So I got into Rock Band with Rock Band 2 at a point where Best Buy's Gambit paid off because they set up the whole thing in their store where you could play the drums and the guitars and everything. And my friend David and I would go, and his girlfriend at the time, now wife, she actually worked there, so we used that as an excuse to go visit her, and then we would go play Rock Band in the video game aisle for like an hour, and we got really into it. And there were only a limited number of demo songs that you could play. What is happening?
We have some Stairway being added.
Do I need to point to the No Stairway to Heaven sign?
No Stairway. Denied. Is this too distracting for you, Brandon?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's apparently too distracting for me because I forgot to start the clock. But okay.
Sorry, guys.
That's right. I don't have a lot to say about Rock Band. So anyway,
Okay.
David and I would go play, and so we would make a whole spectacle out of it. He spent one afternoon with one of his arms tucked in his shirt, being the drummer from Led Zeppelin or Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
Led Zeppelin. So we had a lot of fun with it. So eventually I bit the bullet and I bought it, and I got some crappy second guitar. It's garbage. Just so I could pretend that other people could come over and play.
You got a Luigi guitar, is what you say.
Sure.
It's not the instrument, it's the hands, man.
Well, kind of. Well, that's what I like about Rock Band, because I can't play any instruments, but I love music. So using that, I can pretend that I'm playing music, and I can really get into it, too. Like, I set it on hard, and my fingers are flying, I'm sweating, I've got my foot up on the chair, really rock it out. It's a lot of fun, because I like to pretend to make music. Like, I can mix music. I made our theme song, but I can't actually play any instruments. What's dumb is that they have just put out Rock Band 4, which is exciting because it's the next gen thing or whatever. But they are not releasing it for the Wii U, which is my path of choice, the Nintendo path, which is frustrating because as far as I am aware, you can use the same instruments, so I would be able to use my crappy guitar from a million years ago. But from what I understand, and this may have been updated at some point, I forgot to look earlier, they're not releasing it for the Wii U, and one would assume the NX, or whatever they wind up calling that.
But you can play Bayonetta instead. Okay.
So that's my dumb thing. They're not releasing it for my system of choice.
So there is actually a change.org petition.
Oh, Jesus.
Bring Rock Band 4 to the Wii U. So it's at 819 supporters right now. People are behind you. There are dozens of people behind you, Brandon, on this one.
So many dozens.
Absolutely. I try to figure out what is the level that they have to get to where Obama actually has to address the fact that this happened.
I want to say it's like 10,000 or something. It's pretty high up there.
I think they moved it up to 100,000 after the Death Star, right?
Yep.
After we asked our government to build the Death Star, they were like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to hear all the voices out there. Maybe you're dumb.
Well, what's new with the new Guitar Hero?
I don't know. See, I don't play the Guitar Hero franchise.
Or Rock Band
With
thing.
Rock
Because
Band?
are they just?
It's just updated.
Do you get
It's
new
graphics,
songs?
new songs. Yeah, I think that's the big thing is the music library. Because I can still play Rock Band too, even though it was for the Wii. I can play it, and I recently did just for fun, and because it had been years since I'd plugged that stuff in, and so I had a lot of fun with it, but it's limited. Like there's no store now to go download stuff.
Oh, like different guitars and shit like that.
Oh, the store doesn't exist? No, like
actual songs. Yeah, I think they shut it down because I know they shut down the Wii network.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that's right.
A while back, and I think it was part of that.
Well,
but so I've got Rock Band 2 and whatever songs are on it, and then I also have Beatles Rock Band that I got at the same time.
Oh, but that's great.
Yeah, that one's awesome. Like that one I can play over it because it has that kind of story feel to it as you go through their career.
Graphics are amazing.
But at the same time, where's my Justin Bieber and my other relevant reference? And
No. See, that's the thing. Like all the new music that's out now, why would you want to play that on a guitar? It sounds like shit.
Well, there is some I would like to get out the drum set and play an Imagine Dragons song because they have some really unique percussion.
Hmm.
Like that would be fun. Or that's literally all I can think of.
Would you like me to really quickly like throw out some songs that might be good that are in?
Let's hear him. Let's hear him
Yeah.
to see if it's dumb.
God damn it! As soon as I start saying this, I start like I look up the song list of what's on Rock Band. The first song that jumps out at me, Fall Out Boy. Wait
Which
for
one?
it.
Which one?
Centuries.
Yep.
God damn it! Burn that thing to the ground right now. No, you will not. No one's remembering you for Centuries, Fall Out Boy. Stop.
No, that's no. No.
Okay, The Feast and the Famine, Foo Fighters, Fever by Black Keys, Follow You Down by the Gin Blossoms, Friday I Am in Love by The Cure.
Nah.
I Bet My Life is Imagine Dragons there.
Nah.
The Impression That I Get by the Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
These are so fucking meh.
No, that would
Okay,
be good for the
fine.
trumpet peripheral that they have.
Jamie, do I need to hit you right between the eyes? Because I will hit you right between the eyes with one that'll say, I'm now buying this. Light Up the Night by the Proto Men.
No, I don't give a
Really?
shit.
Don't give a shit about the Proto Men.
No, I
Wow.
thought you were gonna hit me with like Purple Haze. I was like, okay, I'm listening.
no.
Jimi Hendrix.
Well, what about
okay.
Little Miss Can't Be
Jamie
Wrong?
Noguchi.
Spin Doctors.
The spin? Come on, Darren.
No,
You're trying to convince me to buy the game.
No. Okay, let's The Seeker by the
playing
Who.
Goo Goo Dolls.
Short
No.
Skirt, Long Jacket, Cake.
That's a good song.
That's a great song.
I would
Good
imagine
guitar
it's so
song.
boring on rock band instruments, though.
Yeah, it's not a good
Do
guitar
you get
song.
to do you get to pretend that the guitar is that the skull and teeth thing that sound that they make in everyone?
Yes.
Super Unknown by Soundgarden.
Nah.
Toys in the Attic by Aerosmith.
Mm. These are not good guitar songs.
They're really not.
Oh, this is Rock Band, not Guitar Hero. I'm sorry.
This is Rock Band, so it has
Right,
to
right,
be
right,
like the everything type of thing.
Right.
The Wolf by Mumford and Sons. Yeah.
Brandon,
Suspicious
I think
Minds.
I think you're saving money here. These do not
Yeah,
sound like good songs.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not running out and getting this myself. Like
This
I'm
is not
just,
a good playlist at all.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. Never mind. It's
You
not
could-
dumb at all. I
It's
can
not.
wait.
It's not dumb.
Actually-
You're saving yourself.
Well, you know what? Then I'll switch it up because the new Guitar Hero looks awesome, and I can't use my Rock Band peripherals for it. So I'll say that because that you can get for the Wii U, and
Cool.
I think I don't know. I didn't look it up.
So, Jamie, is Luigi dumb, or is Rock Band 4 not being available on the Wii U, or just being Rock Band 4 dumb?
I think Rock Band 4 is dumb, but I think I'm gonna have to give your seething, unbridled hatred for Luigi.
He's
the
so
dumb
dumb.
here. It's kind of impressive. Like I knew about the Carr thing, I didn't know about the Luigi thing. That is amazing to me.
There are people that actively dislike me because I constantly rant about my hatred of Luigi in front of people. Yes. And it's one of my favorite bits too. Like that is definitely part of my stand-up routine. Is my hatred of Luigi. Speaking of stand-up, I'm going to totally segue. We're going to go right into the etc. portion of just dumb things that we found out this week. My dumb thing this week, it came out recently. There was an allegation leveled at a comedian that Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer got accused of stealing jokes. This is not the first time she's been accused of stealing jokes, actually.
So is this a Carlos Mencia situation?
That's actually what I would say that this is dumb. This whole situation is dumb. What first happened was Wendy Liebman complained about the fact that one of her best jokes was stolen by Schumer on her HBO special. The joke in question was, and for those that don't know Wendy Liebman, she's a tremendously great comedian, and she's very good at doing a delay and turn with her punchlines. So the joke that she has is, I like it when the guy pays for sex. It's, she may be old-fashioned that way. That's the joke that she has there.
Yeah, I've heard her.
And looking at the HBO special, yes, Amy Schumer does have a joke that is very similar to that. I'll get to that. When that happened, everybody started piling on when she mentioned this on Twitter. And then it should be noted, Wendy Liebman actually deleted the tweet and later just posted no, everything's cool. We're good.
Well, and she specifically said in a more recent tweet, other than that it's all good, she specifically said we both had the same joke. I'm not saying it happened by any other reason that we're both really smart. That was more than 140 characters, but something along those lines.
Right. Then it got accused that she stole 2 Patrice O'Neill jokes, which, let's face it, if you're going to get accused of stealing jokes, I think you need to get accused of stealing a Patrice O'Neill joke, because he was legendary. He was groundbreaking, and I'm talking about him in the past tense because life sucks and he's dead.
Yeah.
And his stuff, it's still freaking fresh. Like, you could watch his stand-up from 15 years ago, and it will still be relevant and perfect. Kathleen Madigan, she got brought into the conversation. She has a joke about how Oprah... I've actually got to see her perform this joke live. It's such a great... It slays the crowd every time, where she talks about how Oprah could totally lose weight because she's rich. She could hire somebody to slap the damn sandwich out of her hand before she tries to eat it. She could just have a sandwich slapper just walking around slapping it out. And then a bit that was similar to that popped up in the Amy Schumer show. And then Tammy Pescatelli comes in, points out that she has a joke about how women like to dress up their men badly so that other women don't hit on them. And she pointed out that that's totally something that was in Trainwreck. Boil this all down, why I think this is dumb. On the Wendy Liebman bit, Schumer admits that she got, it raised up a red flag. She was on a podcast earlier today, went live. I actually listened to that chunk. I did homework, guys. Yeah, I know. But she actually was talking about how, and she mentioned that it raised up a red flag. They were nervous about it. One of our producers of the show was like, I think I heard this somewhere. Neither one of them could put their finger on who did the bit. And Schumer looked at it like, you know what? I wrote this joke. I know I wrote this joke, and it does get laughs. Let's take the risk. Let's put it on stage.
Also, just real quick, I don't think that joke's in the movie. I think it was just in the trailer.
No. The guy, when the guy pays for sex, is the Wendy Liebman one. That was the one that she admits.
I was talking about the Trainwreck one.
Yeah. I'm just going back through the allegations, and she pointed out that one raised a flag. They were like, it's a little hacky, but it gets laughs, so they decided to leave that in. And the Patrice O'Neill jokes. In the 2 jokes in question, he describes new sex acts. One of them was called the Poltergeist, which involves the guy pulling out, friend jumping in, running outside, and then waving to the girl from the window. Just so she's like, what? And then another one was like the gorilla face, which involves throwing hair on a facial. Patrice does vulgar very well. Those 2 jokes were good, and everybody doesn't really know them, but people will quote Patrice O'Neill to pretend that they're funnier than they are. Some people did that on Urban Dictionary. And they changed the jokes, actually. They changed it to the Abraham Lincoln instead of the gorilla face, and the Houdini instead of the Poltergeist. And Amy, then in her special, refers to the 2 entries on Urban Dictionary. She's actually specifically calling out them by name, how she saw them online. And no, there's some hand waving there, but that's what she did, is that she's pointing out the Urban Dictionary things, and the people that posted on Urban Dictionary did steal from Patrice. 100% I believe that. Either that or they stole it from a guy who stole it from a guy from Patrice. It originated from him, and it evolved as a weird game of telephone. So no, she didn't look at a bunch of old Patrice O'Neill specials and say, I'm going to rewrite this joke. Because, no, she looked at stuff on the internet, and then she further tags off of that stuff that she found on the internet, pointing out that the Houdini, as it was called, which Patrice called the Poltergeist, that's rape. She actually points out and makes a joke like, that's just rape. That's not a sex act. That's horrible. The Kathleen Madigan one with the Slap Chef, Amy did came out and said that a different writer came out with the Slap Chef bit in the Amy Schumer show. She came out with the Sleep Gym, which was a tied to a tag that Madigan had. But I could see how once you've made the walk down Slap Chef, that the Sleep Gym is sort of like a natural progression of the tag. So it does kind of make sense how she could easily have written that herself. I don't know if the other writer accidentally stole from Madigan there or not, but either way, Madigan and Liebman and the Ghost of Patrice, they all say they're good. Pescatelli, she's still like pushing it a little bit, and like on that one, I'm like, that's kind of a common joke. The whole women dress their men as like a defense type thing. So I think this whole scenario of bashing Schumer, I think it's dumb.
And I think there are a lot of valid things that you can bash her for. Not a lot, but there are some things. But I think that she takes comedy very seriously. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've read the I don't remember what it's called now. Judd Apatow's book of interviews that he put out.
Yeah, that's on my must-read soon list. I want to. I need to read more.
Oh, Judd Apatow's Sick in the Head. That's what it's called. Conversations about life and comedy. Yes, you absolutely have to read it because the first interview he has in there was when he was 15 years old, and it's been ever since then. And he talks about the process of the interviews and everything, like going to Seinfeld's hotel room or whatever to interview him. And Seinfeld opens the door and
when he's like a teenager.
He's like 17 years old, and you can just see on Seinfeld's face this is what's happening, you know. But anyway, his interview with Amy Schumer, she talks about her views on comedy and her influences, and it's not like you can tell that she is genuinely funny enough without having to steal jokes. It was like the whole Dane Cook thing. Once he promised to stop stealing in his roundabout way that he said that he was going to do that, he put out an album that was not good. And it was, he's the kind of guy that if you're in the room with him and you're watching it happen, you can get into it. Or if you're watching a special, because he's a performer. Like, he's really serious about performance.
He's a very good live comedian. I talked to other comedians about this. His crowd work is top-notch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to writing, when it comes to really setting things up, he's not as strong. And Carlos Mencia, I would say, is in the same boat, where I don't think of him as a genuinely funny guy when he doesn't have people writing for him or he isn't just taking whatever he wants,
Yeah.
But Amy Schumer has shown that she's funny, that she can write, and that she doesn't need to steal. So, yeah, hopefully this is not going to be a big deal. Because the joke theft allegations sunk Carlos Mencia because he had nothing, he had nowhere to go after that, and he still pops up from time to time, which I find pretty weird.
I find it amusing though that I don't know. We might talk about the Mencia issue later. Yeah.
And Dane Cook then he parlayed his career into doing more acting and doing the Planes movies, and he's a good. He was on Comedy Bang Bang on the TV show recently. Seeming very subdued for Dane Cook and for Comedy Bang Bang, which is a really kind of high-strung weirdo show. He just kind of sat back and let the comedy happen around him, which was really bizarre. But anyway, way off track. Hopefully this won't prove to be really detrimental to her, and I don't think it will be. She's got enough cachet at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if Dane got unbanned from the Laugh Factory yet or not.
I did.
Wow. Random side thing that I'm thinking. Yeah, that was a weird side note thing that happened. People give Dane a lot of crap, but one thing that does have to be pointed out that this dude works every single night that he can, stand up, not just going out acting and banging actresses. Right. That's the event of actressing. Right. He legitimately was working his butt off at the Laugh Factory there, and was putting in at one point he did set a record for longest stand-up show.
Yeah, which he still holds.
No,
he
does not.
Oh well, he did as of when he was on Comedy Bang Bang. Never mind.
Within shortly after that, Dave Chappelle went up and broke it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Anyhow, we're on a Dane Cook tangent that we don't need to be on. We did Amy Schumer there. Brandon, what did you find dumb this week?
Actually, this isn't dumb at all. I just want to talk about it. So, astronomers are pretty sure that they've finally found the path to the secret ninth proper planet in our solar system, based on the orbits of some of the objects in the asteroid belt that have always seemed to be a little bit irregular. The idea is that the gravity from this planet and the path of this planet are actually guiding some of these items or some of these objects inside the asteroid belt, which is weird but super cool. So this planet, which is about the size of Neptune, is so far outside of the solar system that a year for, a full rotation around the sun, rather, takes about 15,000 years, which is bonkers. It's about 20 times further out from the sun than Neptune is, so it's way out there. But from what they're determining, extrapolating the data from the belt, is that it is in orbit around our sun technically, so it is part of our solar system. And I find this amazing because I remember scientists talking about Planet X when I was in middle school. There's always been this idea that there's a secret hidden planet somewhere in our solar system.
Planet X.
Planet X. And they're calling it, well, here's where it gets confusing. So they're calling it Planet 9. Like, that's its nickname. But it's always been called Planet X.
Was it originally Planet X because we thought it was the 10th planet?
I don't know. I was thinking about that because that's where it gets confusing. Like, all of the living Romans are going to be confused. Going to be like, oh, it's Planet 10. But what's interesting is one of the guys that's responsible for finding Planet X is the same guy that got Pluto declassified.
Ugh, what a jackass.
Right? So everyone kind of doesn't like this guy. There are a lot of people with very strong opinions about Pluto.
It's Planet 9 from outer space.
Yes. So now maybe he's redeeming himself because clearly it is a full-on planet if it's the size of Neptune, right?
Right.
So his whole plan, I guess, was like, I'm gonna cut us down to 8 planets, but you know what? I'm gonna bring us back up to 9. But they're confident that if they track things out in the right way, that within the next 5 years we'll be able to see this planet via telescope.
Ooh.
And telescope or satellite?
No, by telescope.
Oh, wow.
By powerful telescope, planetarium or observatory telescope. But so what they're asking all of these amateur scientists, the at-home people who are scanning the skies, they've got coordinates for the general area. I mean, space is enormous, so there's no way you can be like, right over there, look over there. So, because they don't know where in the orbit it is or what direction the orbit takes. So it
Not
could
with
be
that attitude.
So it could be anywhere, but it's very exciting, and at the same time, like, it could be nothing, but the scientists say that it might be something. But it's one of those things where until we see it, we don't know. Mm-hmm. And it's in the same way that the younglings were able to find Camino.
The Yinglings.
By paying attention to the gravity around it. It's pretty much the same method that they've used to find Planet X, which is exciting. I guess I should save that for the Star Wars show. But
now, well, I did Kylo Ren as an earlier topic. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, but something that I think we should note is that I was thinking about the WISE satellite. It's the satellite that we have that's specifically looking for exoplanets out deep, but it is specifically looking for Saturn-sized planets and larger. So it filtered out. If Planet 9 or Planet X, we're gonna call it Pluto, right? Let's just call it Pluto.
Pluto 2.
Pluto's still there. That's rude.
Pluto 2.
That'd be like naming your child Mario.
No, it's basically thinking, you know what? If you had Luigi first, and then you were like, you know what? We named you Mario, but you know what? We're gonna give this kid the name Mario now. You're now Luigi. That's what that is, and I want that. Like, if we could do that, then every one of us that remembered that our very earnest mother served us 9 pizzas, we can go back to that. Let's go back to a simpler time of having Pluto. No one remembers what Pluto looks like.
Can we call it Mecha Pluto? The new one, Mecha Pluto.
Mecha Pluto.
And then Mecha Pluto and Pluto will have a fight, and then Pluto will emerge victorious.
I don't think it will.
And save Japan?
Fanboy. Is there a Sailor Pluto?
Yes.
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 Oh, well then.
Okay. No, actually, that's right. Yeah, I had a friend of mine, Jackie from Flappers. Hi, Jackie. She actually.
Hi, Jackie.
That was why she was mad about the whole Pluto situation, is because it then dequalifies that sailor. That the Sailor Scout Pluto suddenly just doesn't count anymore because Pluto's not a planet.
She's like a junior ensign Pluto.
Sailor Moon. Okay, Jamie. What can you say? Is the joke-stealing allegations against Amy Schumer, are they dumb, or is Planet 9/Planet X dumb?
Oh, it's a tough one. Because I don't give a shit about comedy. No, I'd say I guess the stealing jokes is dumb because I don't know, from an outsider perspective, from a cartoonist perspective, there are no original stories to begin with, and you know, similar themes get passed around and around and around and around, and sometimes people come up with the same idea at the same time, and some people honestly do steal shit, but like you're never gonna know because you're not inside that person's head at the time they're coming up with the joke. So it's really.
I think, and this is how other joke thieves the actual joke thieves have been caught, is when they don't change a word, like it's the exact same syntax and delivery. That's joke theft. This was just 2 comedians running up on the same topic.
Yeah.
Which is really stupid.
What's
not changing the words, because I mean, comedy is a very small community.
Mm-hmm.
It does not take very long. You know, people like you going to all these different shows and the open mic nights and things like that. You know, you're going to know the overlap. And for people that are working 4 clubs in a single day, you know, week after week, these things are going to get found out pretty quickly. Well, not always quickly, but you know, after a while. It's especially when you go and it's on a special, like what happened with Dane Cook. With the Louis C.K. stuff.
He didn't change the words?
It was well, I think for the most part the words were changed.
I think the worst one ever was when Dennis Leary got caught stealing. Like, he took whole bits, never changed a word of it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, he's an old school joke thief. It's weird that there are still comics that like him. I'm trying to think. The dumbest thing that happened with me on joke theft, and I'm trying to make sure I get his name right. So just give me one really quick moment to like look at his name.
I was gonna ask if you ever got like so tired that you told a bit that you thought was yours, but then you remembered, oh fuck.
I haven't gotten that tired yet. I haven't done that. 100% organic on this one because it was a Louis C.K. bit that I had never seen about Clifford the Big Red Dog. And just from having, like, you guys are dads, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Clifford the Big Red Dog deserves to be neutered, and his books deserve to be burned. They are pieces of garbage.
Oh my god, that guy just cranked out book on book on book on book.
And they're so terrible. And so I wrote a whole bit about how I kind of hate Clifford the Big Red Dog. And apparently it was very similar to the Louis C.K. one that had happened. So I looked at it and said, you know what? I didn't do that bit. But the dumbest thing that I ever did, and I need to find this guy's name to make sure I get it right. What is his name? It's the guy with the damn suit that was on Last Comic Standing this year.
Did you steal from a Smothers brother? Is that what you're admitting
No,
to?
no, 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 no. It's
He pulled out his yo-yo, and the guy with the suit on
Were you
Last
playing a
Comic Standing.
banjo, Darren? Is that what it was?
was it Ryan Connor? No. You know what? Screw it. Just cut this whole junk out. I was thinking.
Okay.
Well, it was a guy that he was on Last Comic Standing. Was it Clayton? No, it wasn't Clayton English. Clayton won. Andy was the girl. Dominic was the hat. That was the Ian was the chubby guy. Taylor's my bro. I can't find the name of this guy. I think he didn't make the top 10, I guess. But I was watching, I watched his bit um, on Last Comic Standing, and then the next day I went into work at Flappers, and I was working as the social media guy, right? And I'm listening to this guy do a bit, and I'm just suddenly thinking, holy crap, this guy is stealing, word for word, a bit that was just on national television, last night. Brian Kellen, that's who it is. I'm seeing his name right here. It was this whole, Brian was headlining the main room at Flappers, and I'm, watching this guy, the balls on this guy. He is stealing a freaking bit from, it was on Last Comic Standing, last night, right? How could you do that? And then slowly, as I'm looking up, trying to figure out which comedian was it on Last Comic Standing that had this, it was Brian Kellen. So in my mind, he went and he stole jokes from his TV self, which is clearly a different person because somebody on TV can't exist in the real world, right?
That's true.
No. So thankfully,
seen
I
that
didn't
before.
confront him about his blatant joke theft. I mean, word for word. Just what is wrong with you, man?
That's
Have
funny.
some dignity.
So how does that work? What if you actually did hear someone stealing word for word? Would you call them out? Would you? What would you do?
In the time that it did happen, in my time as an LA comedian, it's been a year and a half at this point. I'm barely a comedian, but I definitely there was a guy that was running around. He came in from Tennessee, and it was weird because half of his bits were amazing, just pure polish, no fat, and great delivery. Whenever he riffed, he bombed. And whenever he did some other jokes, there was such a discrepancy between his A-plus material and every other piece of garbage that came out of his mouth. And it started going around. At one point, people started posting on Facebook about this guy because the guy that he stole all the jokes from in Tennessee, that was a local comedian in Tennessee and had been doing comedy for about 10 years, heard one of his jokes on the Kill Tony podcast and basically said, no, not even close to his joke. That's definitely mine. And he did side-by-side comparisons, and it was word for word, exact cadence.
Damn.
And, yeah, 100% type thing. And then this guy had the nerve to keep showing up to clubs in LA. He thought he was going to be famous. I mean, hey, he got on Kill Tony, he got laughs. He's getting he's doing these jokes at auditions, and he's getting gigs. And finally, what a lot of us, I didn't do this personally. Well, yeah, I did. I talked to some of the club employees. I didn't actually talk to the booker, but the employees passed it over to the booker. They made it known, do not book this guy. It's such a cardinal sin in comedy to be stealing somebody else's stuff. You're not a trustworthy person. You're not a creative person. You're just a reenactor at that point. And go home, get out of LA. And he disappeared. He basically picked up stakes, got out of there, because as soon as the bookers knew that this guy doesn't actually have any good jokes of his own, he didn't get any work.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
also
the thing.
tell us who you stole from so we can book that fucker.
Yeah, really.
Bring him out. That guy's got some talent. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of how it works. Is that's. I think Patton Oswalt said something similar to this. Is that you wait for the guy that's stealing jokes to get promoted to the point where he gets caught. That's the easiest way to deal with it, because at some point, Like the way you get brought up through the system is you're expected to do 5-minute bits, and then 10-minute, and then you get 20, and then you get 45, and that jump to 45, you got to have like 90 minutes of material in your pocket. You got to be good on stage. You got to be quick, and you're going to get in meetings with people, and they're going to want you to come up with other stuff that's also funny, that's similar. That if all you have is stolen stuff, and you get in that meeting where you have to come up with something good, you're done. It's out the door. You're done. Career over.
Well, unless you're Mencia and you wind up with a TV show.
Yeah,
or
that's the
or
thing.
like what's his name, that Jew who almost had a TV show until he got called out.
That's the thing. As soon as they got up to that peak, where's Mencia actually came out with a whole nother comedy album and tried touring with it, and I think he's getting like casino gigs, and that's it.
Oof.
So it's that's what happens.
Well, and once you have a show where you're not really writing most of your own stuff, it's like you got a team of fuckers on board, and most of his stuff was like, man on the street stuff, and
yeah,
you can fake that easy.
That I have no idea how much we're going to use of that, are we? It's
probably not much.
Probably not much.
Yeah.
Let's finish up the show real quick.
Well, you had a follow-up that you want to
I have a follow-up dumbness story that I'd like to point out for you guys that don't remember. We discussed the dog wearing pants. Would the dog wear pants on 2 legs or 4 legs? Would the belt be?
Shit.
Yeah. Here's the dumbest thing about this story now. President Obama weighed in on the dog. He let it be known the dog would wear it with 2 legs.
Oh.
4 legs, and this is a quote, 4 legs is too conservative. Which I'm like, so according to Obama, being conservative means that your asshole is hanging out of your pants.
Interesting.
That's a thing. So yes,
kind of a leap there.
That's where we are. And I should also point out this whole interview where he did point out that the dog would be wearing it on 2 legs. He did this for a bunch of YouTubers that were interviewing him. He did it in front of, I'm guessing, the Nerd Room. Like, he converted the Lincoln bedroom into the Nerd Room. Because behind him on a shelf, there was, like, a Millennium Falcon. And then on the shelf above that, there was a bunch of Super Mario minifigs.
Wouldn't it be amazing, though, that if that wasn't set up for the event, but that was just his room?
I think that's just... Oh, that's like his bedroom?
No, just like his playroom. It's like, I'm mad at Putin. I gotta play with a Falcon. And then he goes in, he pulls out his Sphero BB-8 and just races it around the room.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. He does seem to have nerd tendencies.
Oh no, he's a huge nerd. Yes, he has been called out on it a couple times. He ended a press conference one time saying, "And now I got to go see Star Wars."
Right. Although I would say that the problem with that press conference was that it had, or maybe it wasn't that one, but there was one press conference where there were stormtroopers in the press room with him. And I was just thinking about the optics of that. Like, think about the way the rest of the world thinks about us in general. Like, maybe have some Jedi with you. Maybe bring the good guys into the room instead of the stormtroopers.
Let's be honest. All of us want to be Sith or part of the Empire. Who wouldn't want to have like an army of stormtroopers behind them?
I always wanted to be a stormtrooper, not for any other reason than I'm not very good at aiming guns, and I always wanted to wear the armor. Because the armor is awesome. Some of them. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for next week.
Save that for next week?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do such... Let's do some shameless plugs, guys. Jamie Noguchi, give us a shameless plug for something that you're working on.
I am currently... I'm still publishing my webcomic, which you can find if you just search my name. But I am plugging my tutorial YouTube channel that I'm trying to build up. I need lots of followers and subscribers. So if you look up Draw Jam on YouTube, you'll find my stuff. I just finished a 3-part series on digital workflow, like penciling in Photoshop, inking in Photoshop, and coloring in Photoshop. I'm probably going to do a couple more coloring videos because there's more stuff. But I'm trying to build up that channel because I had a different channel, and then I signed up with a network, and I got locked into a 2-year contract. and they won't let me out of it. So
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
Well, that's fun. What's the name of your webcomic?
Oh,
I mean, I know, but
Yellow Peril.
I like how we with the two white guys on the podcast are like, could you please say the name because it just sounds weird when it comes from us, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yellowperilYPcomic.com. If you search my name at this point, you'll find most of my shit. So
Will we find Titanium Moose?
no, because that is buried and murdered and shot beneath some highway.
That was your first webcomic, right?
Yeah, I don't have the password, so I can't go in and like nuke it.
So
maybe
if
we
we
can
work
find it.
really hard, we could find it, but don't, guys.
It's like
Go
on
read
Comic
Yellow
Genesis
Peril.
or whatever.
Yellow
whatever.
Peril, still one of my favorite comics. It's gut wrenching. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I need a forward for book 3.
Do you really want me to write a forward? I can
Yeah,
do it.
I can send you the it's the last of the black and white collection. So it has
Okay.
the alcohol in there, and then the Miss Jessie dying. I like killing people in my comic.
Yeah. Oh, that oh man. Oh yeah, I'll do it. Sure. No, I'm just going back through the feels that I had during the Miss Jessie thing. That was rough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
I'll write the afterward.
Wait, were you asking me or Brandon?
No, I was asking you.
Okay. I think I should do a shameless plug real quick. I am going to be hosting Nerd Cred. It is a comedy show with very nerdy comics. It'll be January 26th at 9:30 at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank. It's going to be headlined by Joseph Scrimshaw, who has in the past headlined the Joko Crazy Cruise. He writes for Riff Tracks. He's also part of the Jedi Alliance. He's been at Woodstock. He's been on Tabletop. He's a nerd, is what I'm saying. Huge nerd. We got some other great comics there. We actually have another webcomicer, Ben Padden, is going to be doing some stand-up.
Is he really?
for us.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
No.
he is.
I didn't know he was involved. I know. I peripherally know Ben Patton. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Okay. Jeff May is also somewhat tangentially known by a lot of comicers. Greg Cashmanian is a guy who actually once performed at Kamikaze. Erica Inez is a tremendous nerd comedian. Gerard Peters has a Death Eater's tattoo on him. I really love this lineup. It's my first time producing a show, as well as I'm emceeing it as well. It's not my first time emceeing. I'm old hat at emceeing. But Nerd Cred comedy, something that, honestly, if it works, it's something I look to take nationwide. Like, actually start going on tour and make nerd comedies just show up nationwide. Or it's going to be a horrible, miserable failure, and I will cry on my birthday.
Can
Aw.
I come on and be your on-stage dungeon master like Harmontown? I don't know how to be dungeon.
This is traditional stand-up. It's MC, opener, features, and a headliner. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. Brandon, what is your shameless plug?
So this weekend, January 22nd and 23rd, I will be digging out my driveway from a giant snowstorm that is headed for my area. I think I'm really going to put my all into it this year. Last year we had a similar event, and I didn't do the best job, but I've really been preparing this year. I got some new boots and gloves, and I really think that I'm gonna do the driveway proud.
Gonna be right there with you, man.
Will you be singing "My Name Is Jonah"?
No.
It's Jonas, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Jonas. But what does that have to do with shoveling my driveway?
That's the name of the storm, right? It's Winter Storm Jonas.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't sing "My Name Is Jonah," because that
I won't. That doesn't make any sense.
He's
You
not.
should
Gonna,
play
yes.
Jonas Brothers. You can play Jonas Brothers all weekend long.
He's not gonna play anything because he doesn't have Rock Band.
I know. Oh, why'd you have to bring me back down?
I'm sorry, guys. Just so you know, I felt the need to look this up. The forecast on Friday here, it's gonna get It's gonna get cold this weekend for me apparently. Like, the highs are only going to be 64 and 65 for
You
Saturday
can
and
lick
Sunday.
it, lick it, just fucking lick it.
Yeah. Tomorrow it's going to be 75.
Oh,
But I don't have any water to drink, so it's a fun trade-off. We're going to go Mad Max before you guys do, so
that's true.
have
No,
fun
you gotta
digging.
fall off the earth, man. Whatever.
I think we hit post-apocalyptic society before we have the big earthquake.
Oh,
I think that's just going to be a fun secondary subplot.
I thought the earthquake would spark it off. Like, half of LA would be gone, the other half would be like, oh fuck, well, let's kill everybody.
No, the lack of water seems to be the much bigger fear right now. Yes. Okay, on that cheery note. All right, let me close the show. Show. For Jamie Noguchi and Brandon J. Carr, I've been
Wait. Plug next week.
Oh, next week.
Because we actually have a name this time.
Next week's guest, we have Delia S. Dawson, who has recently written a short story in the Star Wars universe, not fanfic, like an actual, this story counts. Like, it's one of the new canon for all for those guys that love. Yes, big get. Thank you, Brandon, for getting that. So we're going to do the Star Wars special, our music, our movie, our video game, our etc., our thing I forgot because I wasn't looking. Television is going to be all Star Wars related.
Oh my god.
Because I don't know if you realize this Star Wars thing, it's out there a bit. Like, you can actually find it in different places. Just a bit. So Delilah is going to judge us. She's going to regret every moment of it. We're going to have a great podcast. There's going to be some Star Wars excellence. It is going to be spoiler heavy. Like, at this point, we assume you know everything about the Star Wars universe. Deal with
So you're going to tell them that Rosebud is the sleigh, right?
Rosebud Wren, yes. Rosebud Wren kills Voldemort. Yes, and Dumbledore. It's exciting.
It's made of people.
As I was saying, for Brandon J. Carr and special guest Jamie Noguchi, I've been Darren J. Gendron, and we've been really, really dumb.